Welcome into another episode of Fantasy Football RPG, where I have a goblin sitting on my head. That is lovely. I am joined, as always, by Evan, losing the polo for once, dressing up.
Look, it's a nice, warm, sunny day down here in Tennessee, so I'm just over here trying to not be in my stuffy work outfit,
Yeah. And below us, underneath us, I can move him around. Look at that, flying him up here. We have the young, the handsome, the experienced Bob Harris. Bob, how are you?
1 out of 3 ain't bad. Fantastic. Doing great. Happy to come on and chop it up with you guys. And man, it's a little bit going on over the course of time here with the free agency and whatnot going on. So it's been a fun week.
Yeah. While everyone else is doing free agency impact and trying to talk about, DeAndre Hopkins to the Raiders, what is going on in New York? Ravens. Wow. The Raiders traded for Geno. You guys should go watch that Dynasty Outlook. But we're going to talk about some Dynasty buys with some of this news in mind. Before we do that, Bob, where can the people find your work?
They can find it at footballguys.com exclusively for the most part. You can hear me on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. You can't miss me once the season starts. I'm on 7 days a week. So check that out when the season comes around. I'll be doing draft coverage there. Also find me on the X device at Football Diehard, Blueski, Instagrams, everywhere else at Football Diehard.
Very nice. So we are going to, in honor of Around the Horn closing, we have Around the Horn style thing, but it's through Canva and StreamYard because that's the way that we're doing it here. I don't know how points are awarded because I never knew how they were awarded in Around the Horn.
That's the whole idea.
Yep. But first, we're going to talk about what quarterbacks are a dynasty buy. Evan, we'll start with you.
Okay. So we broke this into two different groups here. We got a rebuilding team. So obviously a team that you can be going a little bit younger on, try and shoot for somebody maybe recouping a little bit of value. And then we have the win now, who you're going to be trying to buy on a win now type of team. So I'm going to start with the rebuilding the youth roster. And we're going to go with the guy that is absolutely blowing up the news right now, that this is a great situation for him, JJ McCarthy. I mean, how can you not love this offensive play calling? How can you not love the weapons that are around him, what they're doing, bringing back Jones to be in the backfield? I would still argue they don't have a ton of draft capital, but probably a day 3 running back as well. Hawkinson, 1 more year removed from that nasty injury that he had, still having the best wide receiver in the league in Justin Jefferson, a really good compliment in Jordan Addison, and then adding Fries and Kelly. Man, that Indianapolis offensive line, Everybody loved that offensive line for so long. And what do? They bring in a fantastic center and a fantastic guard when healthy to be able to pair with Darrisaw and O'Neal, who are great tackles, to be able to hold down that offensive line for the sophomore season, basically rookie season for JJ McCarthy.
All right. I gave you 2 points because I love JJ McCarthy, and I will accept no JJ McCarthy slander. But, Bob, what is the highest pick that you would send for JJ McCarthy?
I think we're going to be overpaying because, as Evan, laid it out, it's so damn appealing, right? Everything about it is just right. A guy coming in for his first season as a starter, the Kevin O'Connell premium you're going to have to pay, because it turns out it doesn't matter who the quarterback is in the Kevin O'Connell offense. There's going to be success. Justin Jefferson only adds to that, along with Jordan Addison. So I think, I feel like the price is going to be too high. In a dynasty, I'm guessing I wouldn't pay. I'd be offered a 3rd rounder and I'd be spurned and cast asunder. So I'm looking for cheaper assets. My standard line. I'm old, mean, and cheap. And I demand my discounts, and I'm not getting one with JJ McCarthy. It's just not happening. And I get it. Would love to have him. Would love to be squatting on him if I, had drafted him previously. Don't know that I'm looking to trade for him right now because Evan is a greedy SOB. I can see it in his eyes, and he would take me to task. I'd be looking for a cheaper asset.
Very fair.
So Keep Trade Cut has him at a 106 evaluation in this year's rookie class, and Fantasy Calc, our friends over at Fantasy Calc, have him evaluated as a 1.04. All right, so you're going to have to give up the 4th overall pick in this year's draft to be able to do that. I know Mike and I don't like any of the quarterbacks in this draft, so I would happily be able to move that pick for a quarterback that I am higher than most on.
I do think it's fair in like a less than stellar, draft class that maybe I'd be, now that we lay it out like that, maybe I'd be a little more willing to give up a pick, but I'd still have eyes for cheaper assets.
All right. So 104, I think, would everybody be willing to send that? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, I would send it.
I probably would not send that. I would not send that.
106?
Probably not that.
Ooh.
I'd probably keep in my first round pick.
All right. Well, that's why these are buys, because everyone has different valuations. So it's great to see. Bob, who is your next dynasty buy?
I would prefer Drake Maye, where the news is not as great, right? I mean, yes, they added Morgan Moses. All right, it's going to be but there was, we got all the hype, like we're going to be big players in the receiving world, and they did, make some efforts and talk to Chris Godwin. You thought DK Metcalf was primed to go there. They need that number one guy to go along with DeMario Douglas, whoever. But I think, it's easy to overlook the rushing equity that Drake Maye demonstrated last year. And there's a lot to like playing for a hard-nosed coach, maybe turn the culture around. I think he'd be a much cheaper play and probably someone I could get for that second or third rounder I'm looking to give up.
Yep. Superflex leagues, we currently have him from Fantasy Calc at right in line with either the 101 or the 102. One quarterback. Yeah. One quarterback, second round, third round.
That's what I'm looking for. That's the guy I'm after. And look, there's a ton of upside there over the course of time as they build that receiving core. Maybe Jalen Polk turns into a thing. I don't know. Javon Baker, probably not. I don't know. but I mean, there is some young talent there. And so we'll see how it plays out. I do like the way they went after the defense. The players they went after, like everyone connected to Mike Vrabel. He knows the ball, paying big money for guys that he has confidence in. I think we can get this team turned around at least. And I think that'll be a big step forward for Drake Maye, who I thought was surprisingly good last year. All things considered, right? Going into an offense that maybe wasn't ideally suited. I mean, there was a lot of questions. Footwork and timing was, required for that Van Pelt offense. And he had come from a college program where it wasn't as required. So I thought he fared really well as a rookie. So I have a lot of hope for him.
Yep. And I think it's good that we're talking about both one quarterback and Superflex leagues. Superflex leagues, maybe McCarthy, he will never be a top 5 quarterback, top 6 quarterback. Drake Maye does have that ceiling. So I think that's why he would be an enticing dynasty buy at his price. But guys, I'm going to scrape it in the bargain bin. I'm going to get real gross. I'm going to get real nasty. Superflex leagues, Super Bowl winning quarterback, Kenny Pickett. Listen, it's not pretty. It's not fun. I'm awarding myself 0 points for the Kenny Pickett call out. But he might start a couple games. And a starting quarterback that you can slide into your Superflex spot for a third, a fourth. Like when you're on the clock at the 4:02, you can talk somebody into taking Kenny Pickett. I would just rather have the quarterback that I think can play some games. So this is not, the super sexy, the Drake Maye, the JJ McCarthy. This is a guy you can get off of the dumpster pile, slide him into your lineup. He does start a couple of games. You flip him for a second.
That would be the ideal, right? Like the ideal also wouldn't be that one of the veteran experienced starters who are going to be available super cheap, whether it's Russell Wilson, we'll see how that plays out, or Kirk Cousins, where somebody else is paying the bulk of the salary, would be pretty appealing to a team that went into Monday with $13 million in their pocket, which ain't much these days.
Yep. So this is one, listen, you got to roll the dice. 4th round picks, the hit rates we're already talking about 2%, 3%, somewhere around there. There's a chance he plays some games, and I'm okay with that. Let's flip the switch over. Yep. Let's flip the switch over to competing teams. Bob, we'll let you go first this time. Who is your win now buy?
I'm going to go with Justin Herbert, who was coming on last year. I think, number one, there's still going to be a widespread view, hopefully, among the people lesser informed in my league, that this Greg Roman offense is so run heavy that nothing good will ever happen. And if you look at the passing numbers down the stretch last year, it's crazy. 36, 38, 31, 33, 30, 30, 23, 36, 36. There came a point last season where they started throwing, and I think they'll continue throwing. They're going to add something at wide receiver, I'm guessing, in the draft now. There's still some bodies out there. Maybe they bring back Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Just put the gang back together with the child prodigy Lad McConkey. So whatever the case, I think Justin Herbert right now would be a guy that I'd be after, who I think gives you some win now appeal based on the strong finish last season.
Yeah, completely love that idea. I think Justin Herbert has gone from, there were conversations after his QB2 finish. Is he the QB1? Is he a top 5 quarterback in Dynasty? Now you can get him at a fairly reasonable price. So take him, plug him into your lineup, enjoy the ride. Evan, any concerns with a Justin Herbert buy?
I mean, I was loving Herbert last season with how cheap he was because of the discount, because of everybody thinking it was going to be a run-heavy offense. Bringing in Najee will be interesting to see if they go as high as everybody wants on a running back, which I really don't think that they end up doing that. I think they look to another day 3 running back, just trying to find bodies for that backfield because they can move some people up front and create some lanes with having a very mid backfield.
Yep. I'm all in. All right. Give me your.
Yeah, so I'm going the old crusty route here for my Superflex spot. We're going to go with Matthew Stafford. There's not much gas left in the tank, but let's remember, still top 15 in pass attempts last year. I think he was top 12. And then you're also looking at a team that added Devontae Adams, is giving Puka 100% the lion's share, moving on from Cooper Kupp, still has Kyron Williams in the backfield, is in talks to add a tight end rather high in the draft, which is interesting. Give him another weapon to be able to go on this offense. Playing indoors. We love QBs that play indoors and sling the rock around. Still a McVay offense. Our friends over at Fantasy Calc have him as the quarterback 28 right now.
We'll take that.
Man, totally disrespected, right? Like, and I get it. Like the finishes seem like they're not great, but you look at all the pieces, the Sean McVay offense, the offensive line solid enough. There's a lot to like there, and I'm with you. I think he's totally undervalued, and that would be a great win now quarterback for me.
Yep. Sounds great. I'm looking at some of the names that are in front of him. Bryce Young, is he ever going to be really that useful? Anthony Richardson with Daniel Jones in a quarterback competition, which is the most funny thing to say out loud. Sam Darnold, is he really going to be better in Seattle with a worse offensive line and way worse weapons?
Horrible offensive line.
If you have Sam Darnold, go flip him for Matt Stafford and anything. But I'm going to also pull up a guy. I feel like he's disrespected. Dak Prescott, we're talking about on a points per game basis, has been top 10 for 3 years in a row. Talking about a guy who's going to get a healthy CeeDee Lamb back. They need to address some kind of offensive weapon, either in the draft or in free agency. They're all in. They re-signed their long snapper, so you love to see that. But they also signed Javonte, who I think can give a little more juice the year after the year after the year after the injury. That's when it really kicks in. So here comes Javonte revenge season. At QB 21 prices, I'm in.
I give yourself some points for this. This is fantastic.
Thank you.
You're getting the Schottenheimer discount, right? Jerry Jones. I mean, we could throw that in. You're gonna knock a nickel off that final price tag just for the coach. And like Schottenheimer, when he's had talent, it hasn't been that horrible. So yeah, I'm on board with this one. I think I've been hitting him a lot in best ball drafts, early best ball drafts right now. So I think the price is right, and I think the circumstances, like CeeDee Lamb alone, makes it worthwhile.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Football RPG Podcast. If you made it this far, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to check out written content, head over to lastwordonsports.com.
Don't let the Goblins get you.